Welcome to the Doggie Dojo. My name is Trevor Smith, and today we're going to talk about the amazing dog sport called barn hunt. If you enjoy teaching your dog some new activities and having fun with your dog, then please be sure to subscribe to the Doggie Dojo. Let's get started. We recently took our dog Enya, who is a silky terrier, to her very first barn hunt trial. Now, what barn hunt is basically dogs find rats inside of tubes. Now, these tubes are specifically designed to keep the rats safe during this process. And in fact, there are rules set in place to make sure the rats aren't hurt or endangered. There's even a rule for the handler to not tip the tube a certain way so the rats are comfortable, and the rats can only be used for certain amounts of time. This dog sport originally came about farmers needing to get rid of rats inside of their barns, so they trained dogs to do this. Fun fact, the word terrier in French means to burrow, which that is exactly what dogs do in this sport. Now, you don't have to have a terrier to do this sport. All different types of breeds have fun and barn hunt, and we surely did at the barn hunt trial. We got to play two different games with Enya. First up, we got to play a game called Instinct. Now, Instinct is basically 3 tubes in a row, and each tube has something different inside of it. One tube is completely empty, another tube actually has a rat inside of it, and the third tube has bedding only. This game truly is what it's called. Instinct is up to the dog's instinct to know whether they have a tube with a rat in it or it's just bedding, and to make sure the dog knows the difference between just the smell of a rat and an actual rat. Here's the key to barn hunt though. It's all about the dog and letting the dog lead the way. It's important that the handler doesn't try to guide the dog at all. They just are there to encourage and support the dog to find the rat. And that can be really fun for both the dog and the handler, because the handler can really just sit back, relax, and enjoy the process, and the dog gets to lead the way. So if you have a very independent dog that likes to maybe smell and search for things, this sport might be for you. The very first thing you do with your dog is to go into a blind. And this is a tinted or area where you can't see where the judge is putting the rat and which tube the rat is actually in. So once the judge is ready, they'll call you in and the dog has to figure out which tube has the rat in it. Enya was super at this. She just went straight in, sniffed each of the tubes, and it was so cool to see her really start to keen in on which tube was the rat. For her, she kind of just freezes and has this super intense look on her face as soon as she finds the rat, and then she'll start to dig at the tube to show you that, yeah, this is the one. And these are indicators, and it's important to watch what indicators our dogs give off when they find the rat. And because you have one chance to say the word rat, and when you say the word rat, that means my dog has found a rat in this tube, and your dog did find the rat, you get an all clear and your dog qualifies that run. Now, if your dog doesn't find the right rat or indicates on the wrong tube, then the judge will typically let you know which tube it was in, and they'll give you an opportunity to encourage your dog to find the correct tube. I think this is really cool because it really helps the dog learn the process, and it's just a game. They're not really sure whether they pass or fail at this game. It's up to us just to encourage them and have some fun with it. And that's true for any dog sport. And so you need to make sure to always be having fun and set the dog up for success and learn from each run that we do with our dogs. So that was Instinct, and it was a great game to just kind of get Enya warmed up and get used to the space because she's never been there before and she's never been around those hay bales and how it all works out. The second game is very similar. You also will have a tube with nothing in it, a tube with a rat, and a tube with some bedding. And then the judge stashes all these tubes in different areas around a barn. Now, what we got to do was called Novice Hunt, and that is the lowest level or the most simple level of barn hunt. There are other levels where you have to find more rats and you have to go through longer tunnels and do different obstacles, but for this game, we didn't have to do very much at all. In Novice Hunt, and you had to do 3 things. 1, find the rat. 2, go through a tunnel, which was basically a set of hay bales on top of each other, leaving a gap where the dog could go through it like a tunnel. And number 3 was to get on top of the hay. Now, Enya can do this in any order that she wants to, but typically Enya's first thing to do when she was on the line was to go through the tunnel. And then eventually she would climb up and she would find the rat. Just like an instinct, you start off by going into the blind, so you can't see where the judge is putting all the different tubes, and then you're called in and you release your dog to go find the rat. Now, Enya did pretty good at this, and our goal for the weekend was to get 3 novice clean runs, meaning she needed to find the rat, climb, and go through tunnels. Like I said, the very first activity Enya typically liked to do was to go through the tunnel. She'd look around, she'd sniff, she'd jump up on the hay bales pretty quickly and easily. It was a very, very windy day. It was a bit difficult and a lot of dogs were having some trouble. But Enya managed to pull it out on her very first run and get a clean run, and she found the rat. The second time Enya got to play this game, she also did a good job. She went through and she sniffed, and she also went through the tunnel. I think that the tunnel actually helps kind of capture the smell and put her on the path to finding the rat. Now here's the key. Enya is not used to this environment, and she's not really clear on necessarily how the game works out. And of course, she doesn't know that there's a time limit, and she doesn't know that you have to find it in a certain amount of time. So she took her time to look around, and she got a bit distracted. So she ended up not getting it on her second round. But that's okay. Just like an instinct, she was given the opportunity to know where the rat was and to find it and get lots of reinforcement. What that looks like is Enya being able to get out of the ring, get some treats, get some praise, and you'll get it next time, pup. So now we're on our third run, and she's been doing this, and she's kind of tired. She didn't get quite as much success last time, but that wasn't to her fault. She just was learning the game, and we're not gonna blame the dog for that. We're just gonna have some fun with this and keep going. So what we did is she went in, she looked and looked and looked, and right before she went, another dog did it and didn't find the rat. So I was worried. I was like, oh my gosh, is she gonna get this? So she's looking and she's sniffing and she's searching, and guess what? She finds the rat. And we're so excited, and she did such a good job for the weekend, and we cannot wait to do more. As I said before, she needed all 3 to get her title and move up to the next level. So in this novice hunt, she only needs to find 1 rat, but in future hunts, she'll have to find more and more rats and go through longer tunnels. And we're looking forward to that. And the search area gets bigger and bigger. And so it's gonna be so much fun. There's also another game we like to try out that is called the Crazy Eights. And basically they have to find up to 8 different rats inside a big space. That's for our future competition. We wanted to do the simple stuff. The instinct game was a great way to get her started and get her used to what's going on. And then the actual barn hunt was really cool too. We love this sport so much that, in fact, this weekend we're taking like all of our dogs to find out which dogs would also like to play this game, because we see more barn hunt in our future. And if you would like to see more barn hunt and more ways to learn how to get your dog started into this cool dog sport, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and put a like on this video. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions about barn hunt, and I will make sure to add that in a future video. Thanks for watching here on the Doggie Dojo. As always, have some fun with your dogs, and we'll see y'all next time.